Hi, Taylor T. Carlson here, and it's movie time again. Two of my favorite movies from recent years in the horror genre were the Happy Death Day movies released by Universal Pictures. These movies both got a Blu-ray release, but unfortunately no 4K release. So Shout Factory's Scream Factory branch has stepped up to the occasion to right that wrong, and we now have 4K releases of 2017's Happy Death Day and its sequel, 2019's Happy Death Day 2U. These movies only came out about 18 months apart, but I was pretty happy with them. They've become something of personal favorites of mine, horror comedies that are well worth checking out. I'm going to do an unboxing for both of these releases, and then I'm going to share some of my opinions regarding the films and picture quality and bonus features and so forth. Now, one thing I do want to get out of the way right away, the press release for these releases actually had two false pieces of information that needs to be corrected. First of all, there is no Dolby Vision on these releases. They're only HDR10, which when I get to the picture quality, you'll see that's honestly not a huge deal because these look really damn good. And then they do not include theatrical trailers as bonus features, even though the press release said that they would. Well, let's get started in either event. Here's our cover for the first film. Back cover with all the film descriptions, quotes from critics, special features, legalese. And here we have our two discs. The 4K discs have commentary tracks, but all the other bonus features are on the Blu-ray disc. And then we have the sequel, Happy Death Day 2U. And in here, got our two discs, 4K and Blu-ray. Same deal here. 4K has the movie, Blu-ray has the movie plus the bonus features. The Happy Death Day movies revolve around a sorority girl named Teresa Gelbman, better known by her nickname Tree. To put it in the simplest terms possible, Tree is not a very well-liked person and is pretty much rude to everyone that she meets and knows on the campus, from random strangers to her fellow sorority sisters who really look down on her at this point. On her birthday, some very unusual occurrences go on in Tree's life, which culminate in her being killed by a strange killer wearing the Bayfield University mask of a baby. When she's killed, she wakes up, reliving the same day, having previously awakened in the bed of a kindly boy living in one of the dorms. Over time, the cycle repeats itself with different twists. She has to find out why she's stuck in this time loop, what she needs to do, and how she can prevent this from happening, and of course, not die again. Over time, her body becomes gradually weaker, so she has to find a way to break the loop, or she could end up dying for good. The second film continues the story of the first, but this time, the time loop is reopened, but there's some interesting twists that go along with it, and it really prompts Tree to have to make some difficult decisions regarding whether she wants to stay in an alternate universe or go back to the real world. These are billed as horror movies, though I wouldn't argue that they're overly scary. They're certainly more like, horror comedies. There are some pretty suspenseful moments, but they are PG-13, so they never get overly gory. I mean, they get their point across just well enough, and I think for most fans that works. Jessica Roth, who plays Tree Gelbman, just absolutely nails this part. I mean, there's certainly a nice supporting cast in both movies, but she's the leading lady and steals the show. I mean, how often do you get a character who is just absolutely hated and the most detestable character you could ever encounter, but by the end of the movie you're actually rooting for? Director Christopher Landon really pulls things off nicely here, and in a lot of ways, Tree's transformation throughout the movies kind of reminds me of Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. You get a character who's completely unlikable, but over time they start to see the error of their ways and the consequences of their actions, and ultimately they end up doing the right thing. This, of course, is a lot funnier than that story, but both movies are actually very good. I was afraid the sequel would feel like a cash-in, but they find a lot of ways to keep that fresh and interesting, too. I mean, if the original film is basically the horror Groundhog Day, then the second film is pretty much the horror Back to the Future Part 2. Everything comes together pretty nicely. It's a pretty involving storyline, but it's also laugh out loud funny. You're rarely going to go longer than 5 minutes without laughing. And despite that, they even managed to get in some pretty good dramatic moments as well without those feeling too out of place. I love these movies, and I'm very happy to see that Scream Factory gave them the 4K releases that Universal did not. Picture quality-wise, again, no Dolby Vision on the disc, but the HDR10 looks very good. It gives these movies, the slight uptick that you would expect from an ultra-high-def presentation. And they are, in all ways, a step up from their counterparts on the earlier Universal Blu-ray releases. You do get the deeper black levels, nice shadow detail, more vibrant colors, brighter whites that have a little more punch to them. Probably the only minor complaint I have with the transfers on here is some of the scenes that take place in the outdoor quad of the university. I felt like the HDR was maybe a little too aggressive, and those scenes were a little too bright of white at times. And to be honest, that might also just be the settings on my player and TV set, and I might tweak those. I'll post a comment if that changes that any, but that was the only real complaint I had. The only new bonus feature you get on both of these discs is feature-length commentaries from actress Jessica Roth and director Christopher Landon. Another actress joins them for the Happy Death Day to You commentary. You get to learn a lot about filming and everything that went into making these movies, but you can also tell that these people like each other and had a great time on the movie, and it makes it all the more worthwhile when they're actually enjoying what they're doing and talking about here. Disappointingly, the rest of the bonus features are pretty much just the brief deleted scenes and EPK stuff that we got on the earlier Universal releases, so not really any surprises or anything to jump up and down enthusiastically about there. That said, the new commentary tracks and the actual 4K ultra high def transfers look very good, and I do think fans of the movie should pick up these discs. I managed to find these in a local record and movie store here in Vegas for like just under $30 a piece, which isn't half bad. Before the movies came out, Scream Factory had a pre-order deal where you could actually get like mini posters of the movies and a pin set, but they wanted like over $100 for that package, and I just wasn't going for that, so I just got the movies separately. Also, the movies do not have slip covers. I don't know if there was a release or like maybe a pre-order thing that had slip covers. I'm guessing not, but if someone could shed some light on that, I'd appreciate it. Are you a fan of the Happy Death Day movies, and did you pick up these 4K releases from Scream Factory yet? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel for more content because I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.